The year is 2024. PBS Plus has just launched, bringing the world's streaming services to 4,387. How can anyone be expected to go through all this content? Fear not, loyal passengers. Captain Joe Shoes and his first mate Mez are here to travel through space and time to bring you the best nuggets pop culture has to offer. Strap in, folks. It's time for the JoeMeZ podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 397 of the JoeMeZ podcast. I'm Mez. My co-host, as always, is
the magistrate of Caravan City, which, if you don't get that anymore, it's been a while. It's my character from the He-Man mini comic. I'm just the magistrate of Caravan City. I'm Captain Joe Shoes from the JoeMeZ podcast.
Yeah, you are, buddy. That's right. Remind those folks, you in the He-Man universe, baby.
I'm in the He-Man universe. That's correct. I didn't know what to call it. The Motuverse.
Yes, Masters of Universe, whatever.
Masters of the universe, exactly.
He punches He-Man, gets punched by He-Man.
He-Man punches me right in the old grill piece.
But what, you don't think you come back and get some work done on He-Man? Come on.
No, because I know how to sell. So I'm gonna run away. I'm not the Young Bucks here, bro. I'm gonna go sell. I'll show my ass. I get out of there and I'll come back to fight another day.
How you doing, bro? What's up?
Oh, there's a lot going on, Gomez. I've been very busy lately, but we're keeping up. I love this 25-year anniversary thing we got going right now, bringing back a lot of memories of my nostalgia, my childhood, of when I still had a future.
Those were the days, folks.
And this is my favorite time for sports right now. Baseball season's fresh. And I said I wasn't really into baseball season, but guess what? I'm watching every game. And then guess what? It's hockey playoffs. So guess what I'm doing there? I'm watching every game. And hockey playoffs, they've made very easy for you now. Ever since they got this collaboration, the NHL, they got off NBC and now they're with ESPN and TNT. You can watch all the TNT games on HBO Max live for no additional cost.
Yes, I do. I see that with the basketball games. I'm just scrolling on HBO Max and all of a sudden it's like, you want to watch the Laker game? I'm like, maybe I do. Yes, I do, sir. Thank you. That's great.
And then the other day when hockey finished up, I put on C-Lab 2021 because that's also on HBO Max.
God damn. What a show. What a show.
All the hits that HBO Max.
Stop calling it that, bro. It's just Max. Come on. Don't be disrespectful.
Yeah, I'm gonna start saying X instead of Twitter too. Come on now.
Never that. Definitely that. Fuck that.
Thank you guys for listening to the JoeMeZ podcast. Remember to hit that subscribe button wherever it is that you're listening to this. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave some comments over at youtube.com/@JoeMeZ Follow us on all social media at JoeMeZ and Gomez. Why don't we hit some breaking news music?
Ooh. Breaking news. Baby, what's been going on?
Tortured Poets Department, Gomez.
Yeah, it's Taylor Swift time up in this house, bro. My goodness. This girl's done it again.
TTPD.
What a drop. When you just get, hey guys, I'm giving you an extra album because I'm the best. Could you imagine? Oh,
in what world do you like? Everybody's hyped for a new Taylor Swift album. Crazy. Anybody with 2 ears and a heartbeat is excited. And then 2 a.m., you get a message going, by the way, it's a double album. Oh my goodness.
So good. That thing's been on repeat all weekend. There's a Taylor Swift Sirius XM channel 13, and they're just playing the new album.
I like that. It's
on 13. Loop over and over. They just been playing it. So we're in the car going to lacrosse. Guess what we're listening to? On the way home from lacrosse, guess what we're listening to? It's been Taylor all day, all weekend, baby.
I've only got to run through it once so far. I've been very busy. I like what I hear, so that's always a good thing. But I like
That's
Taylor
always good.
Swift, so why wouldn't I?
Sure. Of course.
And to all you people, and there's quite a bit of this. Like, listen, not everything is for you, right? I don't like wrestling. I'll watch it here and there, but not everything has to be for you. So if you're sitting there going, am I the only one that doesn't care about Taylor Swift? Shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Nobody cares, bro. Nobody
Move
cares
along.
that you don't like Taylor Swift. You know what? She's the most popular person on the fucking planet, my man. So, I'm sorry. John Wayne in fucking Boise, Iowa is not a fucking fan of Taylor Swift. Oh, my daughter likes it, but I don't get it. No one fucking cares about you, bro. You just said your daughter likes it. Guess what you just did? You just bought her the fucking record. So shut the fuck up.
I love it. It's the truth. I hate that shit. No one cares, bro. Oh, I never watched it. Okay, good. Don't watch it, bro. Don't listen. Don't
There's
watch.
plenty of
That's
other
it.
things. You go listen to fucking Metallica for the 11 billionth time. I don't know what you're listening to. But if you don't
Probably.
like Taylor Swift, that's fine.
Yes, you don't have to like it. That's okay, bro. No one's telling you must like. That's not what we're saying. Just go about your day. That's it. Move along, buddy.
The same thing with when she was on where they kept showing her at the football games. She's going to support her boyfriend. She's not telling ABC, hey, keep the cameras on me nonstop. Guess why they did it? Because it makes them fucking money. Because she has a bigger fan base than the NFL. And all of a sudden, all those people came over and spent $1 billion on Travis Kelce t-shirts, and they all watched him in the Super Bowl, and they all bought merchandise. They bought fucking custom Taylor Swift Chiefs jerseys. So I'm sorry you got to be inconvenienced by seeing someone up in the crowd for 31 seconds today, but I didn't hear no one fucking complain when the camera was all over Eminem at the Detroit Lions game. Shut
It's the truth.
up.
It's the truth. They always showing the star player's girlfriend or wife. Like, this isn't new. They do it all the time.
Instagram, all the teams do the Instagram post, like, here's the celebrities in the crowd tonight. And it's
all
someone who was on 2 episodes of season 3 of The West Wing. Like, okay, I guess, sure.
Loose definition of celebrity, definitely.
Brian Myers was just at the Mets game the other day. He was invited guest, and they put him up on the big screen. Pro wrestler Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was gonna say. I didn't see Brian Myers. I saw Kurt Hawkins there.
Yeah, they show everybody. Like, if you have some modicum of fame, they're gonna show you, which is fine. Like, and we get, hey, look, like whenever they show the videos of John Cena starting the Let's Go Mets chants, guess who Let's Go's Mets? I do, because John Cena told me to.
Right. You're damn right. Gotta listen to John. He knows best.
Staying on music, JoeMeZ, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced its new inductees. Do you give a shit?
I don't. I saw that they announced it. I didn't see who was on the list. I usually don't care because it's usually the dumbest collection of artists.
It's not a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Let's just call it a music.
It's just a
Hall
music.
of Fame.
Yes, it's a music Hall of Fame.
This is like one of those things where it's totally subjective, right? Like, it's not like you have numbers and statistics and stuff you can pour over and try to compare them between generation to generation. Sure, you got like record sales, but like, but radio plays, you don't have access to that information. Song downloads, that didn't even exist in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. The very end of the 90s, we got Napster for illegally doing that stuff. Which was wonderful, by the way.
The best.
But the people who got voted in this year, Mary J. Blige.
Okay.
Who I like as an artist, wouldn't consider rock and roll, but I guess rock and roll is just a fancy title now.
It is, yeah, definitely.
Cher.
Okay.
The Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, now they just fucking lost me. All credibility is
out the window.
Gone. It's fucking gone.
The Dave Matthews Band was that jam band that was really big during my junior and senior years of high school. And that was a band I didn't get. But
Never.
then I also grew to hate because I had to listen to everybody else tell me how great they were. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't go post on fucking MySpace. Am I the only one that doesn't care about the Dave Matthews Band? I didn't do that. Because I know I'm not. I know I'm not the only one.
It's a silly question to ask.
Foreigner gets inducted.
Ooh, baby.
Now, this is the thing.
They're great, but like they're not Hall of Fame great.
Exactly. I love there's a lot of good Foreigner songs.
Yes,
but
love
to me,
Foreigner.
They're like Harold Baines getting into the Hall of Fame.
It's not an all-time
compilers, bro. Which I guess that's what you got to do is like hang around long enough and they put you in the Hall of Fame, right?
That's it. That's the goal, baby.
Peter Frampton.
Ugh.
I know nothing about Peter Frampton except that he's a joke in Wayne's World 2 where Frampton Comes Alive. That album used to come in the mail with samples of Tide.
That's all I know is he had that live album was supposed to be like this big thing. I don't know why. I guess it was good. I don't know. Not my thing.
Kool and the Gang. Sure, they got some big hits. I don't know if it's enough of them.
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne as a solo artist.
I mean, the person, I mean, there's some good music, sure, but.
And A Tribe Called Quest.
Okay.
Which, I guess, sure.
They're very big, people.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah, they say them when they talk about influences, sure.
So that's your rocket. There's also like some other people who I guess didn't get voted in, so they made like a backdoor category to bring like Jimmy Buffett into the Hall of Fame now.
Oh my God.
It's like basically the equivalent of a Lifetime Achievement Award, but now they can slide Jimmy Buffett in the back door. Like,
well, don't they do that in baseball now? Right now, there's like that separate section where you could.
Well, we've always had the Veterans Committee in some form or fashion. So once people get removed from the ballot after a certain amount of time, ex-players and coaches and stuff could go back and they have like committees for this stuff. And they can look at people and decide, maybe this person got overlooked. But that's how you end up with Harold Baines in the Hall of Fame.
How often does that happen? Because that's terrible, Harold Baines. Get out of here.
JoeMeZ, keeping in line with our 25th anniversary, one of the most popular horror movies of the day, The Blair Witch Project, turns 25 this year.
Baby.
And with that comes an announcement from Lionsgate Films that they are about to revive Blair Witch as a franchise.
What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? What are we doing? Well, does everything have to be a franchise? It's just a movie that made a lot of money, and so it made a lot of money, so we must squeeze every little bit of it. Fucking Blair Witch. Come on, bro.
And now they're being sued by the original 3 actors from the original Blair Witch because they want better residuals and they want meaningful consultation on future Blair Witch films.
Very interested. Okay. We own Blair Witch, bro. What is this? Like,
listen, they all got paid out around $300,000 once the film got bought by Lionsgate. Whatever company it was before that Lionsgate bought up. These actors all got paid out $300,000. Now they're saying they want more because they weren't part of the Screen Actors Guild and they, weren't getting that deal that the actual union actors would have gotten. But meaningful consultation on future films, shut the fuck up.
So wild. Like, who are you? Like, it's like, hey Joe, you were in that He-Man, so when Kevin Smith wants to make another season, he's got to run it through you first, bro.
Probably not the worst idea.
Come on, we liked it. It was good.
The most recent one, yes, I did like a lot.
Have you rewatched it? Have you gone back?
I did watch it probably 3 times in the immediate, like after it came out.
Okay, all right.
But now I got to take a break, though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I want to see if it.
Now I got to let it simmer. And
all right, I'll be interested to hear. All right, because I thought it was good. It was good shit.
So JoeMeZ, can we do found footage movies anymore? Everything's on the internet. We all know. I know people probably still try it, but it's never going to match. And for people who are younger, who did not live through this Blair Witch phenomenon that we had at the end of 1999, this was a genuine conversation people had. Is this real?
Oh
Do you think that
it's a real thing?
like people genuinely thought it was a shoot?
It was, but they did, because it was the early ages of the internet, and they had a website. They played it up like these people are really missing. Like they did mockumentary stuff. So
the marketing behind it was phenomenal.
Yes, 100%. So nowadays you can't do that really.
You can't recreate that initial. You can't replant those seeds of doubt in people after
what you do,
decades of digging them up.
Yeah, that's the thing that you can't recreate. But in terms of found footage now, where there's cameras everywhere and everyone has a camera, there's a camera on every street. It's easier to come up with an idea of, because when you watch a found footage, most of the time you're going, why is this motherfucker still recording this? Like, fucking run away, put that camera down. But now everyone's got the camera in the face all the time.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of found footage because it's still quick and easy to make. So, but they all suck. It's usually nothing happens for 80 minutes. And then something kind of happens that you kind of see.
There's like a jump scare at the end, and then we roll credits.
Pretty much. I watched one recently, Frogman. Not good. The same kind of thing. I was all excited.
I'm a frog man, just like you.
Oh, not good, bro. Terrible movie. Oh, goodness gracious. But
now they've rebooted Blair Witch.
They did that a couple years ago,
right?
We watched. There was a sequel a little after the first one, and then we had that in like 2016, 2017. We had a Blair Witch, a secret Blair Witch movie. Remember, they filmed a movie, and all of a sudden they're like, "Guess what? There's a Blair Witch movie coming out next week." I was like, "It was a cool idea, not a good movie."
So that's it for the news, JoeMeZ. I really only got into one other thing out on the Facebook group, which you can join for free. Just search Car JoeMeZ Podcast on Facebook. I just put out a post because after last week's episode, I said you were talking about Fallout, but I really couldn't think of like what's hot and new in TV shows lately. And I like a good TV show.
Sure.
So I put it out for the group, like, what's everyone watching? And I'm sorry I forgot your name, whoever suggested this, but they put Baby Reindeer, which is a series on Netflix right now. It's 7 episodes. Each one runs about 35 minutes. And I didn't go in with the intent to watch this show, but I was on Netflix. I was scrolling around, and I see Baby Reindeer come up in the suggested because it's new and whatever. And I recognize the name because someone just wrote it in the group. Hey, I just watched this. It was pretty crazy. So I thought I was going to get like some kind of comedy series out of this.
Sure, with that name,
yeah, and it is most certainly not that.
I know nothing about it. All I know is that it may not be the easiest of watches here.
It's not an easy watch. It is completely not for everyone whatsoever. I did stick with it the whole way. And it kind of starts off as like this dark and like cringeworthy comedy where you're just like, oh my God, like, why are these people doing these things? And then as you get to like episode 3 and 4, it just unfolds into like this darker and intricately layered look at abuse and mental illness and trauma.
Oh, Jesus.
And shame. And it becomes a very, very heavy series to sit through. And by the end, you are in a completely different place than where you thought you were going to be, even in episodes 1 and 2. Wow. It totally flips the script on you and gives you this very thought-provoking, very emotionally heavy series.
Interesting. That's really interesting. Wow. All right.
The 2 main actors, the guy's a bartender and the woman she goes into the bar. At different points, you end up hating them for different reasons. But then as the story, they keep peeling back the layers of the onion. What fantastic acting performances from both people here. just really spectacular. Whether this show is for you or not, these people gave absolutely incredible performances for this series.
Very interesting. I said it definitely doesn't sound like something I'm running to go see, but it is
No, it's
something
not
I'll
something.
eventually get to.
It's something I think it's worth it. It's interesting. It'll keep you with it, but it's heavy. It's not something you go, oh, let me get in a couple laughs before bed. This is not that show.
Interesting. Very interesting. All right. In that same thread, I had mentioned that I started watching Shogun. This is a FX Hulu show.
Oh, I thought this was the movie with Jesse from Saved by the Bell.
I wish. This is like a martial arts, like samurai. It takes place like in the late 1800s. There's 5 rival gangs, right? But they all work together peacefully, do their thing. Well, the main boss has died, and his son is too young to be, in succession there. So they have to figure out who's gonna be in charge until then. And some other stuff happens, but that's the main gist of it. So far, it's good. It's a drama. It's an hour-long drama. It's in another language, obviously. So you will have to watch some subtitles. But I've seen people talk about this for weeks, and I finally said, let me dive in. And I only got 1 episode in, but I'm interested. Like, the story's got me like, oh, what's gonna happen? The performances are good. I'm into it. I like that kind of stuff. So already, it's already in my wheelhouse. But it's good. It's very like adult drama, but with a different setting than you're used to.
I have seen people talk about this, so I know you're not the only one here.
Yeah, so it's good. I definitely I've been looking for something to watch, and I keep putting things off. Like, maybe I'll start this. We fell off of Fallout. The middle half, it starts slowing down, and we weren't as into it as we were in the first 2 episodes. So we'll see if I finish that one now. You know how that works. On to the next thing.
The problem is, and we've spoken about this, everything has become a niche, and now even within the same genres, people are being split into different shows, whether that's across streaming services or whatever the case may be. So it doesn't feel like there's any real big audience behind anything right now. Everyone you got like a pocket of people watching Fallout. You got a pocket of people watching something like Baby Reindeer, a pocket of people watching Shogun, a pocket of people who are just watching the same show from 15 years ago. That's just like comfort food for them. And I'm guilty of that myself all the time, especially like when I'm going to bed. I like noise when I sleep, but I put on something I already know, so I don't feel like I have to pay attention to it. Like I am trying to fall asleep here. But it's things like that. And I feel we're just very spread apart right now as far as where people are and what their TV viewing habits are right now.
The good thing, Shogun was a show. It's a weekly show. So I missed the conversation because I got on there late, but that was something that was building. And I believe this week is the season finale. Maybe I could catch up and get in on some of that discourse.
Ooh, you could be the deacon of discourse.
Oh, I love a good discourse. Ooh.
I thought you were going to say you love a good deacon.
Who's a good deacon?
The guy from the best friend from King of
Queens. That's King of Queens. And then Deacon Batista, right?
Deacon Batista, also a good deacon.
So that's 2. All right, we got 2. I do like deacons. You're right.
Yeah.
Joe, the only other thing that I watched that we'll talk about real fast. You mentioned, some things are not for everyone. Well, there was a AEW pay-per-view last night, Joe, and I'm sure you've seen the people talking, baby.
Tell me about this Will Ospreay. Was it Bryan Danielson or Will
Bryan Danielson, yep. Put on maybe one of the best matches a lot of us have ever seen. It's definitely one of the best I've ever seen.
Who's the guy that works with Meltzer? Brian Alvarez?
Brian Alvarez, yeah.
Did he say it was the greatest match on U.S. soil ever?
Yes, he says the greatest North American match. Yes, it's up there, bro. There's not many. I gotta think, and the ones I'm thinking about were in Japan. Omega and Okada matches that were the best match I've ever seen. This is up there, baby. I love me some Bryan Danielson. I may be biased, but I mean the chatter online you have seen. I'm sure of it.
I have
It's
seen, yes. I do want to see it, but here's the thing: I already know I'm not gonna like it because I don't
but
like Will
maybe,
Ospreay.
but you don't hate Bryan Danielson. You don't trust Bryan Danielson could piece together a match that you'd be like, all right, that wasn't so bad. You know, it's a little
Bryan
different than you're
Danielson's
used
not my
to.
favorite. He's
Sure.
he's fine. Like I don't hate Bryan Danielson, but I really just don't like Will Ospreay.
Sure. But I'm thinking you don't like him because of his spot monkey tendencies, right? Like his
Correct. Like
sure. But
nothing
also
ever registers, nothing ever makes sense. Once again, this is a me problem. I know there are people out there who love that spot
he's amazing.
monkey
Yes.
bullshit. This is why I don't actively watch wrestling every week anymore. Because it's just gonna drive me insane.
So I'll say, I don't know when's the last time you watched him. I will say, obviously, he still does tons of flippy stuff, but he has gotten better with his selling and his in-ring storytelling. And against Bryan Danielson, it was not a match where they were popping up every 2 seconds, you know, no sell, no sell, no sell. They were selling and all that stuff. You know, I would love for you to watch the match. You probably won't watch the match, but I want to hear from the passengers. Have you seen this match?
How
I'll
about
put up
this?
a thing.
You send me the match.
Yeah, I
will
will.
watch it.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And then I will record a special edition of this podcast.
Holy shit. Wow. I was just going to say jump off face, but this is even better. Ooh, baby, I'm sending you that match right fucking now. See you later, folks.
Granted, this special edition podcast that you're going to get is probably going to be about 8 minutes long. It probably won't even be worth
4 minutes.
I'll go in the group. Match. You know what? Fuck the special edition, but I will watch it. JoeMeZ will send it to me, and maybe by Saturday or something, I'll go in the group. I can tell you what I thought about Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. If anyone cares about if you're a wrestling fan, I can't see that you really care about what I think, because for the most part, I don't like a lot of today's wrestling.
Will Ospreay he's very popular, but he's also very hated. I know several people in the group who have commented before when I've mentioned him. So they would get it. They will like to hear your review, especially if you're shitting on it. So they can be like, yeah, that's right, Joe. You know everything. You're the Sultan of, I don't know. Why'd I say S?
I was waiting to see where you were going to go with this.
I don't know why.
But when it comes to wrestling, I do like to think of myself as the nobleman of knowledge.
Oh,
you went phonetically with that one.
Yes, I mean that works much better with the random S for no reason while talking about wrestling.
S,
the Sultan of spot monkeys. There you go.
S as in JoeMeZ trying to speak to me in parcel tongue like he's fucking Harry Potter here.
Oh goodness! But that's all I watched, baby. I had a busy week. Didn't do a lot of viewing, except for one other thing, Joe.
Which I'm very excited to get into.
Oh, I'm excited because you're excited. So let's go, baby. What are we talking about here?
JoeMeZ, in keeping with our theme of 25th anniversary films from the year 1999, which is still wild. And how wild, JoeMeZ? Okay. Wild West. Wild West from 1999, based on a TV show much older, or at least it felt like much older. It's probably a lot older now. In fact, it's 25 years additionally older right now.
Yes.
But this stars Will Smith and Kevin Kline as the two best special agents in the Wild West who must save President Ulysses S. Grant from the clutches of a diabolical, wheelchair-bound, steampunk-savvy Confederate scientist bent on revenge for losing the Civil War.
There's a lot going on in the movie, as you can tell.
Now, in that description alone, there's a lot going on.
Yes.
Going into this movie, it is important to remember that Will Smith is one of, if not the biggest star in Hollywood at the time.
100%. He is the guy right now.
He is absolutely, like, everything he touches at that point is turning to gold.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Kline, who plays basically his tag team partner, his sidekick to an extent, Artemis Gordon, Kevin Kline is coming off an absolutely huge movie there too, because the movie In and Out is only a year or two before this, which becomes like a surprise hit where he plays a closeted gay man and comes out. It's a very funny movie.
Yes.
And especially for the era, that kind of those jokes about homosexuality were all in vogue at the time.
Yes, of course.
So he plays it up, and he's a big star, but he's also known as like a serious actor who doesn't really kind of do these popcorn movies like Wild Wild West, but there's a really big paycheck involved, so he does it.
Most people do, you know. Why not?
Now, I have never seen this movie, but it was inescapable during the summer of 19. This is your typical summer blockbuster. The marketing budget on this movie must have been astronomical. I would love to know what they spent in marketing. Now, they did spend so much money in marketing. I can't find a number for you. I did look, but they spent so much that they basically didn't have any money left to do any marketing for The Iron Giant, which ended up becoming a critical hit, but nobody went to see because no one even knew it existed.
Oh, poor Iron Giant. Oh, man.
So I did find out that. Now, let's get into this. IMDb gives it a 4.9. Now, 4.9 sounds great if it's out of 5, but the IMDb ratings go all the way to 10. So not so good, Al. Just like the fish. Rotten Tomatoes, 16% fresh.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
With an audience score of 28%.
Wow, so no one likes the movie. Okay.
Nobody likes this movie, though I took a deeper dive to try to find out more info on Wild Wild West. And it turns out that people who were kids during this time and saw it in theaters, they look at it as this big spectacle of a summer blockbuster movie, and they found certain things funny. So a lot of the people who I would see on Reddit writing about this movie, because there were threads like, is Wild Wild West really as bad as people say it is?
Sure.
And
that is most of the conversations.
And so much of the responses were, hey, I saw this in theaters and I loved it. And then I went to Burger King and got those Jim West sunglasses in my kids' meal.
That's what they say, right? Every movie's someone's favorite movie, and here we go.
Everything is somebody's favorite. So you know what? God bless. If you like this movie, you're in the minority, but God bless. Now, I've never seen this movie. The budget on it is $170 million. Domestically, it brings in 113.8. Internationally, it does better than its expectations, brings in 108.3 for a worldwide total of 222.1.
Wow, not bad.
Now, I do not know what they spent on marketing.
Sure.
But I know that this is not enough money to put this movie in the green.
No. But it made more than I thought. That overseas number was a little crazy. I was not expecting that.
Now, the domestic number may seem maybe in line, maybe a little low with the expectations. It got absolutely horrible word of mouth from jump.
Yes.
So it's not like it was getting repeated viewings or anything, but people are impressed by the domestic number of $113 million here, because this opened the same weekend, or I should say, it opened a week before South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Oh, wow.
So what a lot of people say is that for this movie's take, they owe a lot of credit to South Park, because people who were underage, and there was a big push at the time to keep children under 17 away from the R-rated South Park movie. It was a big thing, especially coming after the Columbine shooting. They had a renewed aggression to keeping underage, unaccompanied minors away from R-rated movies. They say what this movie can attribute a lot of its box office to is unaccompanied minors showing up to theaters, buying tickets to see the PG Wild Wild West, and then sneaking in to see South Park.
I get it 100%. I never did that because I went to the movie so much that the people knew me and let me go see whatever the fuck I wanted to see. But yes, I do know people who have done that. It makes sense, right? Why the fuck not sneak into a movie, kids? Go
I
see
don't
that
even know if
R-rated
I would have
movie.
even thought of that as a kid.
Yeah, it's probably the older kids. I
The
wouldn't
only
have thought.
time I ever did anything even kind of like that was, and it wasn't even me, it was my mom. My mom and my aunt took my brother and I to see Ghostbusters 2 when that came out in theaters. But I guess they didn't cap the theater or cap the tickets. There was a whole bunch of like summer camp bus trips at the theater that day to see Ghostbusters that we couldn't find seats in the theater. So we
my goodness.
basically walked out, and we went into the next door theater, which was for Batman. So we ended up just taking seats and sitting down and watching Batman.
Love it.
This movie comes in 14th domestically for the year of 1999, right above number 15. Analyze This,
Ooh,
much more successful on VHS and cable than really
sure.
in the theaters. Once that came out to VHS, that movie was everywhere. That was one of those movies that really took off after it came to video. And then right behind at number 13, this one shocked the shit out of me. Ashley Judd, Tommy Lee Jones, Double Jeopardy.
I love the Ashley Judd movies, baby. The adult thrillers.
Adult thriller. And it's just like
good.
that beat Wild Wild West, even with all that
Crazy.
South Park money coming in.
That's so crazy.
I don't have a lot of notes on this movie, JoeMeZ, simply because everything I looked up, everything I read about this movie was just everybody involved with this movie saying how much they hate this movie.
Oh my goodness.
Will Smith saying it was the worst movie I've ever been involved in, hands down.
Really? He's been in, what was that interview? Because he's been in some fucking movies.
2022.
Oh, brother, man, really? Okay. All right, After Earth, I see you.
Apparently, the original script writers wrote a version of the script that was closer to the original TV series. And then it got in the hands of rewrite after rewrite after rewrite after rewrite. And it became this amalgamation of fucking bullshit. Let me tell you, as someone who saw this movie for the first time, there is nothing redeemable about this movie. Nothing in this film whatsoever is good. If you have to say, hey, say one nice thing about this movie, I guess Kevin Kline is pretty good.
He's having a good time. He's having a good time in the movie. He is.
Like, he clearly knows it's terrible.
Yes, he's enjoying.
So he's just trying to like jazz it up wherever he can. But other than that, I have no possible good things to say about this film.
I'll say one good thing. Let me see. I thought some of the gadgets were cool. Like the movie starts, right? The guy's wearing that thing around his neck and the fucking saw's coming after him. And like, it's pretty crazy to start the movie like that. Someone's getting their head chopped off. I was like, oh, this is all right. You know? So like, I think that's a cool thing.
How long did it take for that feeling to wear off?
Not long, you know. They do it a couple times in the movie, you know, when the thing is chasing is not as fun. But, you know, pretty much the opening credits. Did you see anything? Is that like the opening credits of the show? I would imagine.
So it's not like the original theme song, but that is in the tone of the way the original credits would show in the series.
I was like, there's no way they just decided to do this. I was like, this has to be how the show was, because this is like totally like, what the
I gotta ask you, because I grew up as someone who watched a lot of syndicated TV. You know, my grandmother babysitting me, sitting us in front of the TV, and that was all we had, and I didn't have cable. I had never heard of the Wild Wild West television show. I never watched it. There were plenty of shows that I watched all the time. Like old, and that's what I mean. Old shows. Wild Wild West was never even in the conversation. Like even stuff like when the Fugitive movie came out. Like my mom would be like, "Oh my god, I used to watch that show."
Yeah, I love that show.
When Wild Wild West came out, it was like, oh, like no one cared. It was just
like, oh, is that? Oh, that show? Like it was never. Yeah, it was never. That's one of those things where people think they get that IP, that IP.
Now, originally, this was going to be done in the early 90s with Mel Gibson and Richard Donner attached to direct. And then they end up leaving the project to go do Maverick together.
I was gonna say that probably would have been better. Although Mavericks, it's okay. It's not great.
Yeah. So this project ends up bouncing around for a while. Will Smith turns out, I guess he was a fan of the show and then wanted to do this. And to do this movie, JoeMeZ,
What he turned down?
He turns down the role of Neo in The Matrix.
I know. Every time you hear that, it's just like thinking about that movie. It's just so different with Will Smith there. It's like a totally different thing.
I guess this says a lot for how good Keanu Reeves is in that first movie. I have a very hard time picturing anybody else in that role. There's plenty of movies where you can picture different actors in there, but that movie totally loses everything about what makes it what it is if you insert Will Smith into that role.
I think it's just a Keanu thing because he has such a unique vibe to how he does all these movies that you just can't see. Because like you go, oh yeah, Point Break, but then you go, who would be good in Point Break? Like Johnny Utah, he's just got that vibe. Keanu Reeves is just his own thing, and Will Smith, it just totally would have been. It would have been. I think the movie probably would have been different. Period. Just Will Smith coming on there. I think
very different. And that's not even a question. But would it still be good?
I think the bones are still there. It just, I don't know. But then those
like, imagine Will Smith saying I know Kung Fu.
I could see him that because he's corny like that, but he would do it like in a jokey way.
But that's what I mean. Like you would, it becomes more Bad Boys than what 100%. Makes it The Matrix.
Yes, he would definitely. It would be more jokey because he'd be like, "Oh, it's Will Smith. I got to joke this up." But maybe not. Maybe they were like, "No, listen, you got to play this straight." Oh man, the world may never know. See?
So obviously, he says that's the biggest mistake of his career is deciding to do Wild Wild West over The Matrix, and no arguments here.
Of course, I mean, slapping someone at the Oscars kind of fuck, But yeah, I get it.
But everybody involved in this movie knows it's shit, hates it, from the writers, to the point where people who were doing the effects on the movie in post-production did not want to work on this film because they did not want their name listed in the credits.
That's extreme. No.
And even after all this time, after all the years I've heard about this giant mechanical spider, it is even dumber and more pointless when I finally see it.
Oh, it's not cool at all. You go, oh, a mechanical spider. It's just like, what are we doing here, bro?
It's one of those things, like everybody knew as they were making it, they know it's a bad movie.
I always wonder that, right? When you're like in the shit and you're just like, man, this is fucking bad.
Like I read an interview with Kenneth Branagh where he was saying, now he plays Dr. Arliss Lovelace, who's the big heel in this. And he turned down another role to be able to do this movie because the money he was being offered obviously was so good because this is a big blockbuster type. And he goes, even looking back, knowing how much money he made, he's like, he would never do it again.
I don't know. That money, though.
Yeah, it didn't hurt him. Like Kenneth Branagh went on and he's had and still continues to have a very successful career. Kevin Kline as well. All these people involved. Selma Hayek still doing shit.
When you're at that level, I don't think it hurts you if you're on the come up, derail your career. But Will Smith was getting another shot. Like they weren't like, forget it, Will Smith.
Will Smith wasn't getting written off. Obviously, they were setting up for a sequel at the end here, kind of, because they give them new badges and new jobs, and they invent the Secret Service. We got to keep it open. That way we could bring this back and run it back once this makes $1 billion at the box office. That was obviously not the case. This movie, I can't believe just how much nothingness is. It doesn't know if it wants to be a comedy. It doesn't know if it wants to be a little more serious. There are jokes and full scenes where they're trying to joke it up, but nothing about it lands. It becomes lame and stretched out and almost uncomfortable because you're like, I can't believe like we're still doing this thing about the fake breasts.
Here's another good thing, Joe. The movie's an hour and 47 minutes.
And it's still about an hour and 43 minutes too long.
It feels a lot longer, but thank God it's not. you imagine? Now, if they made this movie, right, it'd be 2.5 hours where you're just like, what the fuck is going on here?
I've read, obviously, the original script was supposed to be closer to the series. And even they tried getting the actor who played the original James West in the series back here to do
a cameo,
cameo, whatever.
Sure.
And he read the script and he was like, this thing sucks so bad. I don't want to be anywhere near it.
You. Get that shit out of my face.
One thing that I do think is interesting is Kevin Kline plays the president and the decoy at certain points here.
Sure.
It's the second time he's done that. He did that in 1993 while also playing Dave.
I fucking love it. A Dave reference. It's a good movie, bro. Oh,
31-year anniversary of Dave.
God damn. Crazy. Let me hit some music, Joe.
Are you a man? A double main man? Are you a man? A triple main man? A man? A quadruple main man? Are you a man? Are you a man?
All right, Joe. Wild
Hero
West.
main men. This movie fucking sucks.
I'm gonna give it a 0.5 star for the first 5 seconds of the and you get to look at Selma Hayek. That's never a bad thing.
And not a bad thing. Selma Hayek. And this is, I don't even know how old she was at this time, but she don't look much different than how she looks now. So God bless Selma Hayek.
Oh yeah, 0.5 star, guys. Oof, boy.
There is nothing that I found like that, anything about this movie that I wanted to sink my teeth into at all.
I agree. There's nothing to it. There's no, like I said, I guess when you're a kid, some of the gadgets and stuff are cool, right? Like it's like,
I guess the effects and like the Will Smith on the pool table that drops below the train, maybe something like that gives you, like makes you feel like there's some stakes to it or something. Maybe, I don't know if I would have enjoyed it back in 1999. I think I still probably would have been too old for it. But now watching it, especially as an adult, I'm like, oh my goodness. Thank God I don't have kids who want to go see this.
Well, Joe, we're going to take one more trip down memory lane for next week. 25th anniversary again. Let's do it, baby. We're going to watch the Kevin Smith classic, Dogma, Joe.
Ooh, that was 1999.
Baby. Yes, it was. Now, this is a hard movie to find, apparently. This is not streaming. I don't even think it's available to rent. So because of that,
has to be you can't even rent it.
I believe you cannot even rent it. You could double check for me. I believe I look. Prove me wrong. Please rent it.
That's wild.
I believe there's a Blu-ray that just came out or is coming out. There's some kind of remaster. I will throw on the Twitch this weekend. I will stream some Dogma and some Clerks the Animated Series. We'll watch a couple episodes of that. We'll watch some Dogma. And you know me, I'll run that every 2 hours for 24 hours. And,
so the issue with this movie.
Yeah, what's the rights? Music
the distribution rights are owned by Bob and Harvey Weinstein personally.
There you
go. They have declined a minimum of 2 offers to sell the rights back to Kevin Smith and are not allowing the film to be bought, rented, or streamed digitally for reasons of their own.
Jerk-offs. So there you go. So
now,
come on.
For some reason, the DVDs of Dogma have always been kind of higher priced. They seem to go out of print very quickly, and then the copies of them end up becoming very sought after. So I know recently, like you said, there was a new Blu-ray or something that came out.
Yeah.
I do not have that. I had the original, like 2-disc DVD.
I do have a DVD. I do have it upstairs.
So I have to dig that out.
Dig that out or jump on twitch.tv/MEZ movie all weekend long, folks. Let's have some Kevin Smith fun.
This is going to be a movie I'm very interested to. I haven't seen it in a very long time. Obviously, like I said, I had the DVD, but I probably haven't watched it in 20 years. So watching it now with a little bit of fresh eyes, I'm interested. I'm very
Definitely.
interested to actually go back and rewatch this.
Very much so. I agree. 100%. I'm interested. I haven't seen it in forever. You know, we have a love-hate relationship with Kevin Smith. Let's see how one of his old ones that we love. Let's see how it holds up here. Yes, but that's next week, Joe.
So I think we should finish up this week.
Oh, baby. Yes, let's do it. Now time for the big finish. All right, Joe, it's big finish time. Once again, there's no wheel. I got a would you rather.
Ooh.
You know? Yeah, this one's like, it's not a serious one, but let's, sometimes people like when we do a little life talking here. So this week's would you rather.
Apparently they got a lot of issues with the crescent rolls. Folks, that was a lifetime supply.
Bro, crescent rolls. What are we doing? If you don't like crescent rolls, what's going on with your life, bro?
Way too many of you were like, I would take the one blowjob over the lifetime supply.
Bro, come on, bro.
How few blowjobs have you had in your life that you are willing to forego? Did you hear me? A lifetime supply of crescent rolls. For one blowjob? Go put some gas in your car and get lost.
Today's would you rather, Joe? Would you rather have a button that slowed down a good day or a button that sped up a bad day? What do you think, Joe? You want to savor it or you want to get it done with? What do you think?
JoeMeZ, what is the most valuable resource in the world?
Time, baby.
Time. And if there's one thing I would never want to do, even in my darkest moments, is speed it up and forego some of that time. If I could slow down anything and just have more of it and be more present and have the ability to spend more time doing anything that I like, whether that's with my friends, my family, working, whatever it feels like I need to be doing in that moment, the ability to slow it down, I will take 100 times out of 100.
I think I'm gonna be slowing down time too. There's never enough time in the world, and when you're having a good time, you want to savor that. I think I'm gonna slow down the time there.
That's the way to do it. That's why I'm the Sultan of Sentiment. There's your S words.
There's your S words. Hit him with them plugs, Joe.
Guys, thanks so much for coming and listening to the JoeMeZ podcast. Please remember to hit subscribe wherever it is that you're listening to this. If you haven't already, consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and make sure to follow us at youtube.com/@JoeMeZpod to be able to watch these full and complete episodes for free every Thursday. Follow us on all the social media at JoeMeZ. Me, you can find everywhere at The Joe Shoes, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Blue Sky, Threads. We're all having so much fun on Threads. Of course, my food review channel, youtube.com/Joe Shoes, ProWrestlingTees.com/Joe Shoes. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt and help support, we got the new Goddamn Right shirt up there, so go pick that up. And of course, my other podcast, The State of Affairs with Dylan Swoggle Postel, every other Wednesday, wherever you get podcasts, and are also our sister show on the Pod Exchange, the Game Marks podcast with Johnny Clash and George. Anything is feasible, so check them out as well. And JoeMeZ, a little news: we will be launching a Patreon.
Ooh.
So it'll be the game marks, it'll be Going Postal, it'll be State of Affairs. You'll get content from all 3 shows. Details to be coming soon. So stay tuned for all that.
Oh, love to hear it. I'm the JoeMeZ154, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, all that fun stuff. And folks, that tits
the tits now, Trebek.
The Twitch stream is going live this weekend. I'll be showing Dogma. I'll be showing some episodes of Clerks, the animated series. Come on in. Let's have a good time. Twitch.tv/MEZmovie.
So you can't beat that. Twitch.tv/MEZmovie. That way you're up to date with what we're watching for next week. But with all that being said, JoeMeZ, let's make like Tom and cruise.
Peace.